up on YouTube. Anybody want to check that? Everything looks good here. I'll go ahead and switch over. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One day we're going to have this technology, right? With the introduction and the music at the beginning and all that for this great word that's getting ready to come. On tonight, we're getting back into our Bible study. Welcome, shalom, shalom to Yahushua house of Yashar'el, our school of Torah. We didn't take a break when we were doing live recording. We were still in prayer in our time of gathering, but there comes a time when there's no recording. Everything is in-house. But tonight we're excited about getting back into the word of the Most High, the house. That's Friday night of Israel. It's a setback. No, we're going back to the book of Revelation, seals our fate. And when we look at the word fate, we know that is a series of events or happenings such as what the book has already spoken. It will happen without any man intervention. So when we talk about the book being it seals our fate, that means what the Most High has already spoken over us is going to happen exactly like he said. As a people, children of the Most High, we need to understand that our life has already been planned out. It's been ordained. Just as he told Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you a hope in the future. The plans are already been sealed. Hallelujah. And so in this moment of revealing, we said that the word revelation is a moment to look into the text and allow the Spirit, the RUACH HaKodesh, to open the text into our understanding so that we can see the Father, so that we can see his salvation. That's why it's called the book, the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. So in this revelation is our salvation. And so we're sealed in that. There's a moment even where the text talk about in the book of Revelation where there'll be a time, I believe it's the 7th chapter or the 12th, I think it's the 7th, where it's talking about 144,000 from 12,000 from each tribe of Yashar'el that will be sealed at a moment of time. So we need to not allow fear to overtake us. We understand that we have to strengthen our faith. And the more we get into this word and become students of the word, that's why it's called School of Torah. We need to understand we're in a moment of studying to show ourselves approved. And so we know that we show ourselves approved by rightly living right. It's not all about talk. The kingdom of Yahuah is not all about talk, but it's about living. It is about a lifestyle. And so on that note, we're getting back into the revealing of our salvation. We're getting back to a moment of understanding who we are and whose we are, the challenge that we have to face, and whereas we've been already enabled to win. So, Shaba, if you can open us up, we're going back to the book of Revelation for just a minute or two to read our base scripture, Revelation 1 and 4, and then we will continue in the series that we're in, understanding the spirit of Yahuah, the sevenfold spirits of Yahuah. This is our subtopic. So read that Revelation 1 and 4.
Revelations.
And we're going back to
chapter
Isaiah.
1, verse 4. Verse 4 reads, Yehochanan, or John, to the 7 assemblies in Asia, grace be unto you and shalom, from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 RUACHs which are before his throne.
And so we see the revealing of the one who has all power, Yahuah, the one who has all power to enable his chosen children. He is the direct source, the resource of our shalom. Grace be unto you and shalom. You need to understand and challenge yourself. You need to understand that you have everything you need. Shalom, wholeness, prosperity, peace, healing. You know, you have comfort. You have the faith that you need. Everything we need is in shalom. He's already grace be unto and peace. It's a prophetic word, a spoken word that's already been spoken over us. This is the plan he's talking about. We need to understand that this revealing is all about us. It is all about us. And so when we get it, we don't have a moment to slack our ride of faith. And so let's go to Isaiah, the 11th chapter. We've been embarking upon and explicating the Father. We've been talking about him. We've been visiting the scriptures, and we've been talking some weeks ago, maybe a couple months, about who is this one who is, who was, who is to come. And I say the greatest way you can know a person is by knowing him by name. We understand that the power of a name means everything. And so we can't be so naive and caught up in ignorance by pacifying our excuse that it does not matter. And so we've already been talking about his name, and that's why we're constantly, when we're in Shabbat on a Friday night gathering assembly, we're always talking about what his name represents to us and in us, and how we dare not disrespect him by taking the things that are so dear to him lightly. It is so important to him that he put it in the Ten Commandments. Do not take my name in vain. So if he told us not to take it in vain, that means we're supposed to know it. All right. Isaiah 11 and 1 and 2. Read that for me, Shabbat. So we're talking about the sevenfold power. The sevenfold power that the Most High has revealed to us. There are so many sides to him. 7 is just a small number to the many-breasted sides of the Most High. We'll never be able to max out. I don't think we'll get an inkling of what it entails when we think about how great, how powerful Abba Yah is to us and in us. Read that, Isaiah 11, 1 and 2.
Chapter 11, verse 1 through 2. Verse 1 reads, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots." Verse 2, "And the Ruach of Elohim shall rest upon him, the Ruach of wisdom and understanding, the Ruach of counsel and might, the Ruach of knowledge and the fear of Yahuah."
And so I'm going to read that in Hebrew. And so we know that branch, that root that came out of David was our Hamashiach. There was a branch that shall grow out of his roots, and the spirit of Yah, the Ruach, would rest upon him. The sevenfold spirits, the Ruach, the spirit of Yahuah, which Ruach means spirit. The Ruach of Kukma. We've already been talking about Kukma. And Kukma is the spirit of wisdom. The Ruach of Biynah. And Biynah is where we are now, which is the spirit of understanding. The Ruach of Esther. The Ruach of Geruva. The Ruach of Da'at. The Ruach of Yerath. Of Yahuah, and that concludes the sevenfold spirit. So we'll be explicating all 7 of those. But tonight we're going back to the Ruach of Biynah. Biynah, Biynah. That's a Hebrew word. And we spell it a little differently here. B-I-Y, no, N-A-H. It's still spelled the same way, I believe. But Biynah, I saw when I did my research in the Hebrew lexicon, it was spelled B-I-N-A. And so we're talking about the spirit of Biynah, which is the spirit of understanding. And so in our prior teaching, we talked about understanding being a spirit that will cause us to understand what it means to be prudent. And when we think about prudent, it is the ability for one to govern. We need to understand that to be able to govern and discipline our own self by reason of two things, skill and good judgment. We need skill and we need good judgment. And good judgment is none other than discernment. And so when we understand that we are responsible, if I'm your father and I've given you everything you need, I'm a millionaire and I gave all my children money, and they come to me talking about they broke, they need more money, that's going to be a problem, because I'm going to ask them what you did with the money that I gave you. You supposed to put my money to use, right? That's what the Father told us. When it comes down to the talents of the gift, what you mean? You took the one gift I gave you and you hid it. No, I gave you enough to produce. I gave you enough to come forward. The mustard seed faith was one seed. He have given every man a measure of faith. And so if you take that mustard seed and you plant it in the ground, I'm starting to grow beets. Yahuah and I, we've taken a good liking of beets. Not only do we just like the root, the beet, but we enjoy the greens. And so those greens are kind of like priceless, because you only get people. And you got to buy a lot of beets to get enough greens to cut them up like you want them, right? And so we understood that the value of a seed is the value of whatever that is manifested is a result of what the root is, where it came from, the seed. And so when we got respect for the seed, we understand that it is a great thing to have seeds. Seeds are something you should be collecting right now. Everybody in this room should be collecting seeds. You online, you should be collecting seeds. You should be, because one day seeds will be hot commodity. You didn't know that? When you cut up your peppers, and and your yellow pepper and the orange pepper, I not saved so much, I just stopped saving them. You should be saving seed, because one day you may be able to barter. And so if you got a seed, you got a harvest. Say with me, if I got a seed, I got a harvest. And so we got to understand. We're talking about the spirit of understanding. I am responsible for governing and disciplining myself by way of skill and good knowledge, which is discernment. I got to understand that the Father has given me enough nutrition where I can live and not die. He's given me enough substance. He's given me enough word that I can put to work and get a manifestation. He's given me enough seed where I can grow some things. You know what I mean? And so to perceive, we also said understanding means to perceive, which is by reason of having insight. To become one with what has been revealed to us or spoken, especially when it comes down to the word. I got to understand that I need to come one with this word. In him I live and move and have my being. He said that. He spoke that over me. So that means I'm going to know what it means to acknowledge him in all my ways. I'm going to know what it means when he said, I shall supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. So therefore, I'm going to use understanding and cause the seed of my faith to be able to blossom, to be able to produce, to be able to bring forth no matter what I have to go through. Because faith is the substance of things what? Hope for it. The evidence of things you ain't even seen it yet. But it's your faith that caused that thing to manifest. We need to understand How did I begin where I am and get where I am today? I started with nothing. If I tell you my testimony, you'll be like, what? No, you think I was born with the wisdom that the Father gave me, the instruction? No, I was not born with that. I allow my faith to be bold enough to say, I think I could do that. Oh, if he brings you to it, he alone is able to bring you through it. And see, when the world do something great, their testimony is a result of what their mama gave them, what their granddaddy gave them, what their uncle gave them. They had an inheritance. They had something that was left for them. So they had a good start. Can somebody check that for me? Since the phone just rang. So they had a good start. We got to understand that our start starts with nothing. Understand, since we're talking about the spirit of Biynah, which is understanding, understand that in this walk, we start with nothing. We start lacking. We start inadequate. We start with insufficiency. You know, you can relate, Shabbat, Ben Yahuah? Naked. We start with nothing. You know, the result of the humankind and the repopulation of the earth started with a mere seed. It started with a seed with a man and a woman. And it also started with the spoken word of the Most High. Everything he spoke, he saw. That right there should set us free. We need to understand that my words have power. Not only my words have power, but my thought and what I think about myself. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so in the place of insight, we must be willing to carry out the instructions of the Most High. We need to understand that I can't skip over what the words say. It is clear, you know, time's out for religion. Time out for, you know, believing whatever they say about us. Time out for us to get this word for ourselves. I got to understand that I got to marinate. I got to meditate. I got to become one with this word. I got to let this word play in my ears and in my heart until I believe it. I got to see myself doing it. And so when we understand that, you will begin to say, I lack nothing. I have shalom. I have everything that I need. Because why? The Most High has already spoken that over me. So I can't allow my circumstances around me, these little horizontal things that I got to go through. Yeah. I can't allow them. We're talking about understanding. We're talking about the spirit of Biynah. We're talking about Ruach, Biynah. I got to understand I can't let these things around me draw me in, whereas my faith becomes shipwrecked. But I got to understand that I got to stay on the boat with Yahushua. I can't go outside of where he is. Peter got outside. When he got beside himself, he got out of the boat to go towards Yahushua, but yet he stepped outside of faith and allowed what was around him to cause him to begin to what? Digress. He began to sink. And so I got to carry out these instructions. I got to understand that these instructions are for me. And so what those instructions manifest, I'm in control of that by my faith. Go ahead.
Just to piggyback off of you, what you're saying, shipwreck faith and the seed, it's put me in the mind of somebody would plant a seed and they water it the first day and they're watching it, expecting something to prop out right away, and because they've been watching it for 8 hours and they don't see something coming out, they stop watering it and they stop tending to it. They would let it shipwreck, not understanding that there's a process or maybe an allotted amount of time for that seed to start manifesting, that harvest to see it.
They stopped checking on it.
They stopped checking on it because their faith was shipwrecked because they didn't see in an instant something instant come up, or even in a few hours. Their faith was only as long as a few hours. And in some cases, it might have to be a week, 2 weeks, or maybe even a month to see the manifestation of what you're working with.
I'm glad you said that because it takes me back to, it takes me back to talking about the beet seeds. So I planted about 6 or 7 beet seeds. Mind you now, I've already looked at the instructions. I can't expect to have no beet seeds except for, nothing to pop up except for a minimum of 14 days to 21 days to 3 weeks. So I looked last night, and I think it might have been a week. I got beet stems right there in my aquaponics system, if you go in the kitchen, that high. About 6 of them already within 7 days. And I put some water on them. I'm like, I watered them one time, I'm like, I don't see nothing yet. And then I said, let me just forget about it. Let me just forget about it. Let me not just keep watching it. Let me just believe that it's gone. So the manifestation of it happened before the 14 days. That thing popping up. So we're hoping to have a harvest of a farm of beets and greens, which we like so much. And so faith is the same way. When we watch what the Most High is doing, we got to watch in faith. We got to watch, and it ain't came up yet, but I'm going to water this thing with it's coming soon. If you put fertilizer, mind you now, when I did plant those beet seeds, I did put fertilizer in that ground. I did fertilize it this time. So our words is fertilizer to what we've already hoped for, to what we plant for. You know, we got to put good words to it. Give it good water. Reverse osmosis. Don't give it muddy water. Give it some rainwater, because everything grows when rainwater hits it. So we have given opportunity for our faith to work when we take the instructions of the Most High and we say to ourselves, it is well with my soul. I need to understand that everything the Most High has said, it has came to fruition. I need to understand that. I can't allow fear to take me in. I got to pray about it and leave it there. I got to pray about it and leave it there. I got to understand that. I don't care what your issue are. Everyone in this room tonight got an issue. But if you got an issue, take it to the Father. Understand that. Understand that you got to take it there and leave it there. You understand? Let that be the insight that you really believe. So if you believe that, then you will do it without fear. But you will do it in faith. You will do it without worry. You will do it that when you look and see it ain't happened yet, you will praise Him in the midst of it. Give it that fertilizer, the fertilizer of faith. So faith must have a chance to grow. We need to understand that. So tonight, we're in Biynah, and we're going back to explicating that word Biynah. B-I-Y-N-A-H or B-I-N-A. Biynah. We know that this word is Hebraic, Biynah, or Ivrit, I-V-R-I-Y-T. Function. It has, we need to understand that the Spirit of Yah, Biynah, it has function. This is why Yahushua said, the Spirit of the sovereign Yahuah, RUACH, is upon me. I'm anointed. So if the head understands that the Spirit of Yah is upon him, and he even said, the grace that you've given me, Father, I give to them. That name, that salvation you give me, I spread it on down to them. They are anointed to obtain, to grow thereby. So it is understand that it is functional. So there is a required or innate, an inborn ability by way of the Spirit. When we have the Spirit in us, that means innate. When I say innate, I mean it's inward. It is not outward, but it is inward. In Him we what? Live. And in Him, we are in Him. and he is in us. We're inseparable. We are the body of the Hamashiach. So we understand there's function that will take place in the midst of whatever I got to go through. I got to understand that there's going to take some drama to get me where I need to go. If I'm going to manifest, if I'm going to operate in the spirit of Yah, there's going to be some drama. So it is the ability, the action or response, dysfunction. It comes with ability, not inability. Understanding, I got to understand that understanding comes with an ability. It comes with power. It comes with substance. It comes with manifestation. I got to understand that the spirit of understanding, it's like cash it in. I got some value. It's like having gold or a diamond, something that is priceless. So when you take, like the Bible talks about a light, a lamp, and put it under a bushel and hide it, no, you'll put it up high for everybody to be able to see. So you got to understand that when we walk in Yah's spirit, we have something so much greater than us. That is not just for us and our four and no more. But every joint of the body brings a supply. So we got to understand that we harm and hurt the part of the body that may be compromised or a little weaker than we are. So that means I got to be careful how I handle the body. I can't handle the body any kind of way. I might, move too fast and pull my knee out of place. Sometimes I turn and move too fast. I'm like, oh, man. My mind just does switch in my knee like, I'm still over here. What y'all doing over there? And I can feel it in my knee. I'm like, ooh, I just brought harm to my knee. So we need to understand that what we do, I'm almost to say this in tears, what we do affects the body. It affects the joints. It causes the joints to be compromised and harmed in a way that it should not be. It should not be put in such a stressful situation. And so if we can all judge ourselves, understand that we can do our due diligence inwardly, one-on-one between us and the Father, then we corporately come together, we're going to bring increase. We're going to bring positive words. I'm really, negative words and negative talk is my pet peeve. That it rubs me the wrong way. As one, over the ministry and over what the Most High set our hands to, I tell y'all all the time, I don't want to hear no negative words. Don't bring that negative, don't bring that complaining and murmuring up in here. Don't tell me what we can't do. And I want to hear nothing else about the clients or nothing. I don't want to hear it. Now, there's a professional way, a right way to remedy an issue, a situation. But you can tell when frustration comes in, and it's us, it comes out what? The wrong way, don't it? It comes out the wrong way every time. Every time, boy, he always cut that off. You're lying. Exaggeration is called lying. Bring it in. Let's allow the Ruach. Let's understand that when we speak, in him we live and move and have our being. Let's speak with some integrity. Let's speak with some clout, like we got some type of dignity. Let's bring it in. Even tone. You know how we do it. That's why I say I'm not black anymore. Because the way we do things is totally, we got to understand that way don't work no more. Talking loud don't work no more. Fussing and cussing don't work no more. We need to understand that. So once we understand it don't work no more, we cut it off. Sometimes we just need to ask somebody, could you video me in secret when I'm not watching? I just want to see how I act. Because the thing about it is, when it's coming from us, we figure we always right. I know that's how I feel. I'm talking about myself side. We feel like we always right. Because we got to get our point across, right? But if we could go back and look at the video, the Most High would say, you need to work on that, for sure. And I'm going to tell you, you need to understand, if you get quiet, he will work on you right away. That's if you're willing. That's why we talked about in that we got to be willing. We got to understand that a willing heart, a willingness to be able to be open to criticism is one that we need. And so when we have that ability to do that, we know we tapped into a function that is greater than us. This is a function, and it'll begin to walk itself out in us, whereas we're not even in control anymore. We need to get to the point where we understand, I'm so hooked, line, and sinker with the Most High. I'm so hooked in, I know how he feel about a situation. I'm so hooked in making sure I keep my mind on him. I can't even help myself. I can't help myself. Because when you got a soul tie on you, you can't help yourself. Is not that right? And when you got an addiction on you, you cannot help yourself. Except you at the mercy and the grace, of the Father. But we're talking about it in a good way. We need to understand that there needs to be a change. And so if we really see ourselves, we'll understand that that's not the way I need to be. I need to mirror this word. And so faith, it's going to take faith to do this. Faith allow us to let it react in a way that we are not familiar with, but it's pleasing to him. Faith would allow us to react. We need to understand that. I got to let my faith do its thing, because it's going to act different or contrary to the way I would have normally act. When I'd have normally just cuss somebody out, faith says you just need to be quiet and just let me move in that situation. Let me handle that. Just be quiet because you're talking too much. We need to understand there are moments when we're talking too much. And so that word benign, we know it has prudent. That means I got to be willing to govern and discipline my own self, work on me. That's what we've been talking about since we started. I got to understand that some things the Spirit just going to step aside, even though he's going to help me with that ability to govern and discipline myself, but I got to be willing. And I got to understand that skill means I got to walk this thing out. Skill means I got a weapon, and I'm going to be, I'm going to learn how to use my faith in a right way. Not in a bewitching and manipulating way, but I'm going to use it in a way that is pleasing to the Father. I'm going to use it in a way that's going to bring correction, that's going to bring shalom, that's going to bring love, that's going to bring unity. And then also, I'm going to use it in a way that's going to bring separation. Does not the word bring separation? So that means I'm going to cut away me so that he can live. If we understand that the word being a knife and a sword, it cuts on both sides, that's cutting away me so that he can have a chance and faith can have a chance to live. Both, that wrestling day and night, the flesh against the spirit, you can't get nothing done when the flesh is always fighting. We got to understand the goal is to die daily. So, benign, that word is spelled Beit, Yod, Nun, Hey. We've already explicated the letter Beit, family, house, in. And you have to go back to a prior teaching to hear that. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Yod. We're going to see Yod in David's perspective. Y-O-D. Yod means work, throw, worship. We're still talking about the word understanding. But benai is the Hebrew word for understanding. So in that, work, throw, worship. And we did talk about it a little bit, and we said valuable things take work. Things that mean something to us, sometimes it takes time, such as a seed. We can't rush it. You can't go ahead of, the horse can't go before the cart. the cart can't go before the horse. You know what I mean? So we got to understand that things have to have a proper protocol. There must be a proper setup, proper manifestation. We got to understand that things can't operate in a way of a flesh mindset where I'm living large in me, in the flesh side, but yet I'm expecting some spiritual manifestation. No, that's the cart before the horse. No, you got to be willing. You got to be humble. You got to be submitted. You got to be ready to be ruachly filled on a daily basis. Yesterday's spirit was stale, but today you need a new outpouring. You need a fresh start, because the trials and the tests of faith of today is going to take a fresh anointing. It's going to take something more powerful than you saw yesterday. It's going to take something that you're not familiar with. You're dealing with stronger spirit. Like they're talking about with the COVID, another strand that they gave this name that begins with a D. And about devil, that's Delta. So with that, you got to understand that there's a higher level. So it's with that with good and bad. You know, wickedness, the Bible talks about increasing. As time go on, the very fact and the understanding that wickedness will increase, and it is. So it's that way with the spirit. We got to understand, as we're challenged, there are higher heights and deeper depths. So I'm moving up to another level, and it's going to take work. This is valuable. Valuable things that take work, we don't complain about. We don't murmur. We just know that we got our hands at a good work. And so this type of work that we're talking about now is the eternal work. Forget about the things, the horizontal things of the world that will be considered a dawn. Here today and gone tomorrow. You can blow on the things of this world and it's gone. That's why he say don't set your treasures, shalom, don't set your affections, your heart on things above. Set it on things, spiritual things that are last, things that are eternal. Because where your treasures are, that's where your heart is. And so where your belief system relies in the value of your faith, understand that's what you're going to get. You manifest that. You cause that to manifest. So we have to work on that. Father, show me where I missed it, so I can build on a solid foundation where it's going to cause my eternal position in you to bring me an eternal well done, my good and faithful servant. Instead of saying, depart from me, I don't even know you, you workers of iniquity. Doesn't the word say that? There are times in judgment where the word will go forth, where many will say, we cast out devils, we did this and we did that. And what he said, depart from me, get away from me, I don't know you. Matter of fact, he went on another notch, on another level. He said, matter of fact, I never knew you. Who want the Father to say, I never knew you? That means your work you did, bring it in. Your work you did was of iniquity. So that means what you put your hand to was a place of sin, not a place of holiness, not a place of purity, but you put your hands to something that is negative. We need to understand that. We're going to reap what we sow. It's going to come back at us. And so the value of work, we're talking about the word yod, which means work through worship. Work, faith without work is dead. Without work, there's no pay. Who gonna pay you when you don't work? I'm always telling my staff, we see you on the camera. You haven't worked for the last hour. So therefore, your paycheck get ducked. Your time get ducked. It get docked. You haven't been working, so what are you doing? You're stealing. So if the Bible tells us to work out our soul salvation, and faith without what? Work. You want to get paid, the Most High say. You want to cash in on all my blessings, but you don't want to work your faith. You don't want to work out your soul salvation with fear and trembling. You got no respect for me. And you got no faith. But yet you want to be blessed. You want shalom. We need to understand that what we get is a result of what we've done. So when we get the negative, and I get some negativity I have to deal with, I need friction. You need negativity. You got to have friction. So who do you think you are? I used to tell my children, you act like you don't want to get a whooping. I got a whooping. You think you better than me? I'm going to tear your tail up. You getting it. Oh, yeah, you getting it. If I got a whooping, you getting a whooping. Okay? Because it sure helped me. And I used to tell you ain't better than me. What you think? Just because you crying and you hollering and you running. But I ain't whipped them that much. I really didn't. So we got to understand, it means work means I got to put something in. I got to use my faith. And he has given you the tools. When he say work out your soul salvation with fear and tremble, what's the number one tool you're going to work? What's the number one tool you're going to use to do that? Anybody? Faith. Good job. You're going to use that faith. You're going to use the tool of faith to work out your soul salvation. What's another tool you're going to use to work out your soul salvation? Understanding. I'm going to use that tool to understand. I'm going to use the spirit. I'm going to use the spirit of understanding. I'm going to use, and the faith ain't nothing but a what? Gift. But it's a tool. It is a function. It is work. It takes work to have faith. You can't just, just hope for it to be, but yet you're not watering that faith with belief. You know what I mean? Yeah. With, if I'm going to garden, I got to know how to what? Cultivate the garden, right? Yes. I got to know how to get rid of the weeds. I got weeds everywhere. And then you can't be lazy and not water your garden, right? You got to go and get and see what the pestilence that are coming out in the season, and you got to get what you need to deal with it. So the wise had oil in their lamp because they knew what was coming. And we got to understand, you can't be spirit-filled and expect to be caught up or prepared to meet him.
Like, on top of that, you just have to spend time with the plants too. Like, even if you're not tending to them, you still have to spend time with them. That's even like with the Most High. That's one of those be still moments.
Be still. Oh, yes. And it takes time. In the presence of you. Wait patiently. It takes time. So we're in the microwave age. It look like we need to use some skills, right? We look like we need to use some good judgment, right? I can't move too fast because I got to understand that I got to hear him and allow good judgment. Believe me. I already understand that wisdom and understanding and knowledge, they go together. Them three sisters, I can't do with that. I can't let my faith be shipwrecked because I don't have understanding, I don't have no wisdom or knowledge of a thing.
And then to work.
In order for it to work.
Yeah, no abracadabras.
Exactly.
Be willing to make something from that.
These abilities come in a full packet, just like a grapefruit.
Even like the message with the fish.
Mm-hmm.
When he told him when he was paying the taxes, and he said, go open the mouth for the fish.
Right.
There was an act of walking to the fish, getting to the fish, opening the mouth of the fish, and believing that the coin was going to be in the mouth of the fish.
You got to follow instructions. I need to understand that I got to go look at that fish and find what I need.
Right.
It's just like, who was that in the boat? Was it Peter? Say, cash your net on the other side.
Yes.
But I ain't catch nothing on this side. Was you complaining? I gave you instruction. You, instead of going and following mine, you murmuring, baby. You're not going to understand what it means to have an insight of who Yahushua is. We're talking about the book of Revelation, seal our faith. You're not going to understand who he is until you understand that you are him. He's in you and you're in him. You are the body. And so there's a set protocol, a set path that you got to be willing to follow. Let's go to Psalms 119. So, with understanding, work, throw, worship, it's functional. I have to do something. It's an action that takes effort. So we can't afford to be spiritually lazy. Because sometimes we have energy to do everything else but talk to the Father. We have energy to eat whatever we want, burping it all, without eating the word of the Most High. Eat ye all of it. What he told the prophet. Chew on this, and I want you to eat all of it. It's going to be bitter in your mouth. It's going to be sweet in your belly, bitter in your mouth. But I need you to take all of this word and take it, because I need it to marinate. I got a word that needs to come out of you. And just like Revelation, the 4th chapter, Yahuah, come up hither. I got to show you something. Come up from where you are. You're too low. You're thinking too low.
Wow.
You're hanging on.
Perspective. The higher you get, the more you can see the vantage point.
Absolutely. The higher you get, the more you can see, the more insight. Come from around the chickens. Hang out with the eagles. Too much dirt down there. Too many excuses down there.
Wow.
You getting ready to die. So we got to understand that our surroundings and what we hear, see, and believe is basically our lifeline. Because your environment is going to either catapult you, cause you to move forward, or it's going to cause you to shrink back and do nothing. You can't be scared, Peter. Get out the boat. Understand that you must get out the boat. I don't care how the waves are toiling. But you already asked me, and I said you can get out of the boat. So instead of feeling powerless, we got to understand. Say with me, instead of feeling powerless, I need to understand I'm powerful.
I need to understand that I'm powerful.
He's powerful because we're in the Hamashiach. And now I'm bidding, Yahusha's bidding you to come. So he's saying, if I'm bidding you to come, you may be powerless, but I'm all powerful. So if you take what I tell you, understand that my instructions trump any other instruction you got. Any past news you've got, my instructions trump that. Psalms 119:73. Daweed. We're talking about the Yod. Work, throw, worship. Start off reading that for me, Shabbat.
Psalms 119, verse 73. Verse 73. Yod, thy hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding, that I might learn thy commandments. Verse 74. That they that fear thee will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in thy word. 75. I know, O Yahuah, that thy judgments are right, and that thou in faithfulness hast afflicted me. 76. Let I pray thee, thy merciful kindness be for my comfort, according to thy word unto thy servant. 77. Let thy tender mercies come unto me, that I may live, for thy law is my delight. 78. Let the proud be ashamed, for they dealt perversely with me without a cause. But I will meditate in thy precepts. 79. Let those that fear thee turn unto me, and those that have known thy testimonies. 80. Let my heart be sound in thy statutes, that I be not ashamed.
And so we see in all those 8 verses that Daweed heralded out, because he was so close to the Father, that the Spirit of Yah was upon him. He had understanding. He definitely had knowledge and insight. And he had wisdom. You can't cry out and ask for all these things that flesh ain't gonna want to do unless you got the Ruach. You have to have the Ruach. Because in all this, it's going to take some, you're going to have to throw his hand up. When that hand go up, that means I what? It's a place of surrenderance. So when I think about when I think about understanding, I got to understand that I got to give it up. I got to give it up my opinion, how I see it, how my emotions feel, and I got to give up the opinions of others. And I got to understand that what the devil is trying to do to me, it cannot happen. He can't have me, period. So it's going to take some working of my faith to do that. In Matthew, the 20, you don't have to go there. The talent, we talked a little bit about that a few minutes ago. Matthew, the 25th chapter, 27, around there, where the Most High gave one talent and 5 talent. And the one with the 1 talent, he didn't do anything with it. He took it and hid it. He didn't understand. He did not have understanding. He did not have insight. He did not have the power of what the Spirit of Yah brings, the value. You understand you have something valuable, you can't do nothing but work. You can't help yourself. You can't help but surrender to it. It's like a seed in you. Like the word of Yah say, those who have the Spirit of Yah in them have ceased from sin. John say that in the 3rd chapter around the 9th verse. You got to understand that. I don't have the nature of a sinner. You know what I mean? Because the nature of a sinner, all he thinks about is sinning. It is what it is. A seed grow up to what it be. I plant my beet seeds, and beets I'm going to get. So if I got the seed of the word, I need to understand that. I got to surrender to that. I got to understand that my trying to, but, I know, but, I just don't feel it's fair, but, and always trying to get a word in edgewise, but, no, I got to understand that I got to submit myself wholeheartedly to the way the Spirit of Yah does it. James already told me what I'm going to go through. James already gave me ahead of time. What? 1 John 3 and 9. James already done told me that I'm going to go through. I understand that. So I'm ready for it so that I can bring forth manifestation. I can bring forth the power of the Hamashiach in the earth. I could be that light, that city. Because the Most High was working on something. You know what I mean? If I give you 5 talents, I want 10. I want fruit. Bring me some fruit.
But so basically the Most High in that parable was saying that is something programmed in you to do. You should already know that it should have been second nature for
That's
you
the innate ability.
to know that this is what I wanted you to do. It says it's not something that needed instructions because the instructions were put inside of you.
That's that being fruitful and multiplying.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like you said, it's in us. We're supposed
That's part of your nature to know this is what you do. And like,
to
you know,
bring
certain
forth
things
with whatever you have,
comes
to bring
natural
forth
to the,
something.
you know
Right.
when you get hungry with a child you want to eat. Certain natural things is already programmed
It's
inside.
innate. It's that ability come forth. And like I always like to say, except you are in awe of him in you, you haven't gotten there. You haven't gotten there. We've gotten so familiar with what we put out. And we've agreed to it. And we become comfortable. But we got to understand that Dawid began to speak. And how he spoke was, I want you more than anything. That's 7th and 3rd verse. Let's go back to there. He said, you made me. You created me. Now give me the sense to follow your command. You made me. I want you to give me what I need. I'm asking you for what I need. I understand that I don't have what I need. If the word tell you in here you live, move, and have your being, then where you gonna go to gas up? Why would you try to be gassing up by getting close to other people, mimicking and copying other things? No, I need to gas up on this word. I need to understand that I need to let it get in me. I need to meditate on these instructions so that I can see myself having enough sense to follow it. Then he say, Go, somebody get Job 31 and 15 for me. Job 31 and 15. Yo there. Yo there. Yo there. 31 and 15. Or Ivo. Ivo. I'm thinking Yoda. Ivo. Io. IV. Y. Yo. What's what I silent? Read 31 and
Did not he that made me in the womb make him, and did not one fashion us in the womb?
Did not he that made me in the womb make me, make him, make the Father, made everything? He created everything. There's not one thing that was made that was not made from him. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All things. And did not one fashion us in the womb? So when you understand that the Father fashioned you in the womb, you're going to go and say, make me what you need me to be, Abba. I need to understand that there's good and there's bad. There's heaven and hell. It's time out for just assuming you go into heaven because you're 15 years old. You 10 years old, you think you're going to heaven, but yet you got all these instructions and you kept none of them. You need to understand that you got to be accountable. Just like we adults have to be accountable, we're responsible. You have to be responsible as a young man or a young lady. You're accountable. Give me what I need. Dawid was young when he started off. You know, he was a young man when he slew that giant. He was in his younger years. He wasn't old and decrepit and crusted out where the Most High couldn't use him. He had a lot of spunk, a lot of energy. So the Father had penetrated him. He understood what it means to throw up, to surrender all, to worship, to bow down before him, to become one with him. The work of his hand was a gift to Yah. Your work, everything you need to understand that. It is a gift to the Father. Whatever you put out is increase. That's increase. Give me some. Let me see something from you. Something that resonates from me. You know, something that I've given you. That's what I want to see. I know I gave you 5 talents. Let me see it. Double it up. Do something. Right. Exactly. You go hide love in the bushes. May all who fear you find it. 74. May all who fear you find in me a cause for joy. For I have put my hope, there is faith, in your what? Torah. I put my faith, my hope. That means when I don't see my way out, it's in your spoken word that you've already said about me. That's where my faith is. And I know whatever my issue is, I understand it's already done. Say with me, it's already done. You got to understand it's done. It is finished. If we are in him, we live and move and have our being, that means it's done. What we need has already came to fruition in the spirit realm. So we got to pull that thing to the natural realm. We got to cause it to manifest. That's why when we pray his kingdom come in earth, in me, in this earthen vessel, in this dirt. Your kingdom come, your will be done as it is in the Shamayim, so let it be. As your word has already spoken, you call me up high, I desire to be up in the Shamayim. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be down here with the chickens. So let all those who fear you find me a cause for joy. Let them see you on me. I know, Yahuah, that your regulations are fair. You disciplined me because I needed it. You know this is not the mere man talking. You know this is a person that has the innate ability of, this is why the one that didn't use the talent, because it represents the spirit of Yah. He didn't use the power that the Most High had given him to cause that mustard seed faith to increase like a mustard seed faith and bring forth a tree, in which it becomes a large tree, you know. So that he gives us inwardly, it is increased. It is part of himself. So if we don't allow that to grow, everything about the Father, it has an exponential mandate of growth on it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If you really allow yourself to take time and meditate in the Word, it'll go faster than you. And you'll be to the point where you'll come and your natural self will kind of say, wait a minute, this is too much. Wow. Just think how Yahuah might have felt on the Isle of Patmos with all these different visions. And he was basically caught up like Enoch was. He was caught up in the spirit. He was no more. So there was no more room to act out as a mere man. I believe we could get there while we're in the earth. In this earthen suit, I believe that we can have an exponential growth spiritually. Whereas the higher you get, like you were saying earlier, in the spirit, the less this. That's what Shaul was saying. I die daily. He increased and I decrease. There's a progression, there's a digression going on constantly. So what side is winning? It wins when we know how to talk to the Father and allow his discipline. If he say, I chastise those I love, why you getting mad? Why you upset? Because he tried to sharpen you. It's a bastard child that don't get chastisement. What you bragging to about? My mama don't spank me, she don't beat you. That's because she don't care about you. Exactly. Exactly. That part. You have to have correction. The rod of correction is always right. So why not allow wisdom to speak and ask for it? He said, discipline me because I need it. I need you to work on me, deal with me. If the mere man, if the bulk of the house of Yashar'el be honest about themselves, because the spirit is the candle. The spirit of Yah is the candle of man searching the inward part of the belly. You know, we can play dumb all day. Deception only got so much it can do. Its debut is just about over. It does not have deception. The spirit of deception don't have the power except you give it to it by not wanting to be chastised or dealt with. You want to run away from home because you got to get a whooping. What? You better be glad you got love around you. 76. Now let your unfailing love comfort me. He's calling for the love. So he's in the place of worship. He's in a place of surrender. When the word yod, that letter is a letter. Looks like a hand. Yod is a place of worship. A place of surrender. A place of work. So, now let your unfailing love comfort me, just as you promised me, your servant. So I need your love, and I know your love is so much greater and different than what I would deem as love. Let it bring comfort to me. the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yah. The words I speak, Yahuah say, they are spirit and life. When we call forth the unfailing love of the Most High to comfort us, that means speak. I receive it. I receive your comfort. The word, truth, brings me comfort. Hope. It brings me clarity that I won't be destroyed with the world. I would rather be condemned, convicted, so I won't be condemned with the world. That's what truth tells me. So that brings me comfort. He's not talking about stroking you in the back and stroking your hair to make you feel good in your flesh. He's talking about by the Spirit, your real you, the self, who you really are. You are the body of the Hamashiach. And we shall live forever in him. He said, as you promised me. You got to understand that tell us the promises of Yah are yea and amen. That means so be it is done. Biynah, Yod, meaning I'm humble before him. I know I got to allow my faith to be out front. I can't let fear be out front. The faith got to be out front. And then this is all because of my ability to worship him. Surround me with your tender mercy so I may live. For your instructions are my delight. And so he's asking for the Spirit of Yah. Surround me with your mercies. His mercies are made new every day, every morning, fresh. I need mercy for today. So if we get mercy, we can what? Give it. People that can't give grace and mercy, can't give favor, don't have it. You're depleted of it. You can't give something you don't have. All you understand is what you see. But when it comes down to criticizing and correcting somebody else, like we had to tell a young lady, while you being corrected 1,000 times, you try to correct somebody one time. Does that make sense? Does that match? That don't match up. Go sit down and be quiet. Allow the correction that you're getting right now, your training, to be substance to you so you can be the person you want that person to try to be. You be it. Let him see you be an example, because he see the opposite. He ought to look at you and say, you trying to correct me? No, you ain't trying to correct me. How dare you try to correct me? You forgot I know your story. I see it every day. For real. What to do? That's why he said you judge your own self. Then you won't have to come out of my judgment. I won't have other people to call you out. Mama. If you take care of it, if you be honest, surround me that I may live. You need to understand, Biynah, that the only way to live, in him not live and move and have my bread being, if you're not in him, you're a dead man walking. You're in the line of waiting for judgment. The final judgment is second death, which is hell. You either on one side or the other. There's no in between. There's no lukewarm. That's why he told the church of Laodicea, I want you to just make up your mind, because I'm about to kill you like right now. How many kids did you deal with a friend, they did friend today and tomorrow they not? It won't happen. And they apologizing every day for the same thing. It won't happen. You know, oh, you my good friend today, but tomorrow you ain't. What's wrong with you? You either with me or you ain't. Oh, come on. Who love relationships like that? Marital relationship, business relationship. You show up today and tomorrow, and I ain't see you in 2 weeks at work. But yeah, you expect me to just be quiet? No, we need to understand that the manifestation of what is a result of where the heart is. So what instructions are we hearing? He said, I delight in your instruction. This is what Dawid said. When you delight in something, that means you take pleasure in it. Ain't nobody got to coach you to go pray. Anybody got to coach anybody in to go eat?
No.
Now, I need you to go to eat now. The beans and rice and that chicken is in there. Go on in there and eat. That cake is there for you. I got a nice cold drink. Go eat. Ain't nobody got to coach nobody to go eat. So when you delight in him, you become a delightsome land. Remember we studied that, I think, was that Numbers, the 6th chapter? That was so powerful. Was it Numbers? Or was it Deuteronomy 6? It was Deuteronomy or Numbers, where he's talking about us being a delightsome land. We was talking about Barak. You want to know what blessed is? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty as to how the Most High see it. So when we delight in something, it means to take pleasure in it. You do it on your own. Why? Because that innate ability, it just do what it do. A seed just do what it do. Remember? That seed gonna be what it is. Ain't nothing coming forth from them beet seeds I plant but a beet. Unless in a GMO. A beet seed beets gonna come forth. It is what it is. So we need to delight and take pleasure in his instruction. Why? Because it's going to bring the manifestation we really want. Everybody wants the results. Understand that. Every humankind, because you came from him, we are spirit just like him. If every humankind answer correctly, and they should be able to, unless they try to be funny, nobody wants hell. And when they say they want hell, they really don't. They don't. Everybody want to go to heaven. You want eternal life. You want eternal bliss. You want to be fruitful. You want to multiply. You want increase. But I got to understand that in order to get all that, I got to delight in the way the Father do it. I got to take pleasure so I can manifest. If I stress my seed out and I put my seed in hot oil and cook it in the frying pan, is it going to bring forth? Is that seed going to go bring forth? No. If you want what the word says for you to have, you got to have the seed of the word to fall on ground that is fertile, that is ripe, that is ready, that is disciplined, that is coachable, that knows what it means to be governed in discipline, that's skillful, that knows what it means to have good discernment and knowledge. You're not going to take the seed and burn it up and try to plant. Oh, I'm gonna get something. I know I'm gonna try to cook these seeds and see if I'm gonna get something out of it. No, you're not gonna get anything out of it, because the instructions are to put that seed in some dirt and let it die so it can bring forth.
That verse you actually in
Numbers 14 and 8.
it coincides with Malachi 3:12. I think Malachi 3:12 is actually what you're quoting.
That's where we were.
I was referencing to Numbers 14.
Read that. That 14.
Okay, Numbers 14 and 8. If Yahuah delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. And Malachi 3:12 says, this is the NIV version, then all the nations will call you blessed, for yours will be a delightful land, says Yahuah.
And so we got to take those two passages, number 8 and 14, or 14 and 8, and Malachi 3 and 12. We got to take it from a horizontal and earthly manifestation to a spiritual one, a RUACH. Remember he told John in the 4th chapter, come up higher. But I'm going to be a delightsome land. He said, if I delight in you, I'm going to give you a land. Read that again, 14 and 8, or 8 and 14.
14 and 8. If Yahuah delights in us, he will bring us into this land.
What do you think? Yeah, he's going to bring us in. What do you think that land is? Do you think that's literally, yes, there'll be a time heaven will be on earth. The New Jerusalem will be on earth. But he's talking about a lifestyle that's in him. It's already wrapped up in, it's being on another plane, like another mentality, a hierarchy that is greater than us. I'm talking about a supernatural manifestation that is untouched, unedited, uncut by the world. You think Hollywood got some good movies? They ain't got nothing over what truth and what this delightsome land he wants to bring us into. You know when they went over and spied out Canaan and, the fruit, and they was talking about how, large the fruit was and how the people would look like Anak, they would look like giants, and they basically, because it was something that they never experienced before. But that can't even touch what the Most High mean by that. So we got to understand that we got to delight in his instruction, meaning I want it, I'm going to embrace it, no matter what my flesh wants. So the more I get in instruction, the less I'm going to have anything to say. I'm going to die. 78. Bring disgrace upon the arrogant people who lied about me. Meanwhile, I will concentrate on your commandment. So deal with my haters while I concentrate on your commandment. I love that. See, you got to learn that. You gotta be skillful to get there. You got to, I walk through the valley of shadows of death. You got to go through experience to get there. Deal with them that lied on me. So I'm gonna concentrate on your command. That means I don't know what it means to retaliate. I ain't got no retaliation for you. I ain't got no tit for tat. I've seen this work. I've seen it work.
That takes too much energy.
Yeah.
It does.
Drains you.
Wasted energy.
So deal with them, Father. Let me meditate on you.
Let me do you.
Hey! Oh, praise.
That part.
Too much stress.
That's it. It's too much stress. I ain't got time for that. Because I understand that I got to work. I put my hands to a good work, and it is your command. It is your precepts. And I got to follow it. Why? Because I got to understand that every joint in the body of the Hamashiach has a duty to play. Every part of my body, my muscle got a job to do. Every nerve in my body got a job to do. Every bone in my body got a job to do. Even my blood, my endocrine system, every system of the body, the skeletal system, the gland system, every system of the body has a job to do. And so if it's interrupted by disease and cancer, it can't make me healthy. So deal with that negativity, deal with that plague, Father, while I continue to work in this body in a healthy manner. That's going to bring increase. Go ahead.
Like you say, but that is functional.
Functional.
Without you ain't gonna be able to function.
Right.
All this other stuff. Raising havoc on your spiritual. You can't understand nothing, you shut down.
It take you out. You said it to the words out of my mouth. Because it takes you out. Fear comes in. Worry and doubt and unbelief. All these things come in and shut it down. Shut it down. You can't be no delightsome land. You can't get to the promise. Why? Too many variables. Too many negativities. I'm almost there. Bring disgrace upon the arrogant people that lied about me. Okay, that's 78. 79. Let me be united with all who fear you. Let me have the right crowd. People that disrespect the Most High and have no respect for me. Father, he told you don't even eat with them. Don't even listen to them too much. I mean, be kind, try to be cordial as much as possible. Yeah, but you ain't looking forward to hanging out with them. You're not. This is what the man of Yah said. He said, let me be united with all who what? Respect you. Fear you. So those who don't respect him, don't fear him, is the contrary. They're on the opposite. You can discern it. If that's why we got to be able to discern within ourselves, so we can discern. We discern inwardly and we discern outwardly. We don't put ourselves in on a pedestal like, not me. I could never do what they did or what they do with you. Ooh, yes, you. Matter of fact, when you look at them, you're looking at yourself. That part. Why? Except for the grace of the Most High, Yah, there goes I. Humble yourself. And he said, so let me unite with all who fear you, with those who know your precepts, those who know your law, those who keep it, those who respect it, those who delight in it. Yo, Biynah, I understand this. See, folk can play dumb all they want. You can play dumb and talk about I didn't know. The word is plenteous. The fruit of the Spirit, the manifestation of the Spirit, it's plenteous to those of us who belong to him. You know? He said he don't give the children bread to dogs. We ought to believe that. So we got to take the substance that belongs to us and marinate on it, chew on it, meditate it, be it. Walk in it, produce, bring forth.
At the end of the day, he said, I'll supply all your needs according to
His riches. And that's the needs he's talking about. We look at it materially, but he's talking about the needs, our spiritual needs. Because you could be like the rich and got it all wrapped up in a bag of chips and still miserable, wretched, naked, depleted of anything called good, anything that is called righteous, anything that is called holy. So you know that stuff is dumb. It's basically no good to you. Because when we got the Spirit, we're full of the Spirit, we have everything we need. It's not the earth is and everything that's in it. So if I'm walking and I'm built up spiritually, ruachally, and I have his presence in me, I can ask for what I will. He said it'll be done. Did not he say that? He said, ask and it shall be given. Acts 7:11. Seek and you shall find. I think it's Acts 7. Knock and the door shall be open to you. For what manner of, find that scripture. And then it ends with, if you being even know how to give good things to your children, how much more would I give the power, the enablement, the ability to produce, to bring forth to them that acts. And then when it talks about acting, also there's another passage talking about you have not because you act not. And then when you act with the wrong intent, the wrong motive. So the asking has to be to his glory alone, to his will. Lastly, and we'll end with reading that passage. Let me, 80, verse 80. Matthew 7:11. Read that for me.
Matthew chapter 7, Matthew, chapter 7, verse 11. If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Abba in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him?
Exactly. So there it is. You need to understand that. I need to learn that. I need to meditate on that. I need to concentrate on that. He has everything I need. The manifestation of his Spirit is a gift to those who are humble and submitted to receive. Your posture got to be right. You don't show up to receive it. How could you? You need gas in your car, but you think you're going to get it without taking the top off the gas tank. You just pull up to the gas station and sit there. Come on, I come to get gas, and you're just standing there.
Self-serve.
You know, gas, come down. No, you need to work. Take that top off, put that thing in there and fill it up. Do something. Lastly, may I be blameless in keeping your decree. Then I will never be ashamed. My. May I be blameless. He's prophesying. He's speaking life over himself. May I be not ashamed, not held in contempt of your word, of keeping Torah. May I, these are the results of understanding. May I be blameless before you. Then I will never be ashamed. Anything outside of understanding of the sevenfold spirit of Yah will bring a man shame. This conclude our teaching for tonight. Any questions, any comment? Hallelujah. We explicated the letter Yod. Work through worship. Work through worship. Pray you have a good evening. A good night. Shalom, family. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shalom.
Nobody ain't say Shabbat Shalom.